Welcome back everyone to Pontus Fathom Hobbies. This is our batch paint through video for A Song of Ice and Fire tabletop miniature game, Stark versus Lannister starter set. I'm breaking this out into two videos. So video one will get everything Zenithal primed. I'll tackle the Lannister armies first, and then we'll go into Stark in part two. I noticed that the Stark armies have some mounted troops, so I decided to add in the Clegane Brigands so we can have Stark and Lannister mounteds. And then I also, just to balance out the unit count, I'm adding in the Cranogman trackers to balance out the number of units. So here you can see the red units are Lannister, the bluish gray units are Stark. Lots of minis here. I will get them all boxed, and here you can see the boxes for them. So yeah, so lots of different minis here. You can see that the breakout, there's some key characters like Jaime Lannister, Cersei, Ned Stark, and then you've got our Cranogman trackers, and you've got our Clegane Brigands. So I'm looking forward to getting into it, and we're going to start first out with some Zenithal priming. So I've got these on the boards, just using some double stick tape, and I do them in batches. There's a lot to do, so basically for this one, just get them out. I'm going to hit them with the flat black primer and do light coats on these, turn them around and get them pretty much covered. And then I'm going to do a quick Zenithal prime just to give them that little shading effect. I kind of like that. I've noticed a lot of people are painting these neutral colors. I haven't really refined my painting down to the undercoat of the prime yet, so I'm going to go with black with the Zenithal prime, and we'll see how it turns out. It'll make it for darker miniatures, but it'll kind of also give them that war look. So you can see they look really great just with the Zenithal prime. Just a spritz of that flat white that picks up all the accents of the model. And I'll repeat this across for all of them. So I'll deboard these, and I just kind of cycle through a couple batches. I think it's taken me 3 batches to get through all these. One thing I did notice is one of the horsemen for the Starks, his arm was broken with a shield, so it just seemed to fall out. So easy to fix. I just got some Tamiya cement and just a little bit of rubber cement. Got that in there, let it set and dry, and then we were good as new. Just stick that piece back in. So I know a lot of you guys are working in other miniatures. You do a lot of assembly. It's not really my thing. It's just getting into this. So yeah, so got that dry, good as new, and get these primed up as well. So now that I've got the primer, I'm going to start out with my Lannisters, like I said, and I'm just going to use a Tamiya red and a yellow to start out with. The Clegane troops have got that yellow, and I'll start with the Lannisters for the base coat. I've also got some flesh tone for faces. I've got silver for their weapons, and then for the Lannisters, I'm also going to use some gold for highlights of the Lannister logo, and some of the gold work on their shields. Even Jaime Lannister's armor is quite ornate, so put some gold on there. So yeah, so hitting these guys up with the base coat of red, working through the Lannister guardsmen, the pikemen or halberdiers, I'm not sure which one they are, halberdiers, yeah, halberdiers, and then also some of the flag bearers. And again, with this, I'm trying to be a little bit clean just to not overpaint too much, but you can kind of just get it on there. One thing I'm doing too is I'm kind of going with this style where I'm kind of going more with a black and red with the accent of gold, as opposed to just like a red and gold. I kind of like having an under tunic that's black, and I'm going to use like a iron black for the boots and scabbards and things like that. So it'll be blacks with gold highlights, reds with gold highlights, and I still haven't decided what color I'm going to do the plume with. I don't know if you guys know in the comments what's the color of the plume from the books. You know, I've seen a couple videos, people do different things, so I was thinking of yellow. It might be cool just to stand out, but maybe red. Not sure what to do there. So yeah, I haven't actually finished them going through this video. So if you guys want to give me a comment, by the time I do part 2, I will go through and batch them as you guys see fit. So if you want to vote for what color the Lannister plumes should be on the top of their helmets, give me a comment below. And as you guys know, like this channel is not monetized yet, so go check out our links below. We got a Patreon. I'm going to be publishing on Patreon a schedule of my paint videos for both Joan of Arc and for A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm looking forward to painting these and getting them on the tabletop. You can also check out our Pontus Fathom bookstore down there in the links, and appreciate your likes, subscribes, and comments. So you can see I've got the initial reds on the Lannisters. Now we're going to go over to the Clegane guys and start hitting their cloaks and tunics with just Tamaya yellow. And just going to go in there. I've got this probably 2 parts paint to 1 part water, just to kind of let it flow. And I have to keep cleaning the brush as we go along. So I've already given this one a coat, and I'm just kind of going in and kind of cleaning up a little bit. So here's Gregor Clegane, highlighting some of the raised areas and getting spots that might have been too thin when I hit it on the first coat. Again, this is covering over black, so it takes a couple coats with the yellow. So just kind of be patient with it, let it dry. One thing I'm noticing is I'm using a flat yellow, and I kind of don't like the finish of it. So I'm debating to use a glossy clear coat at the end. Usually I don't do that with the miniatures. I use a flat clear coat, but I might do the glossy one. I use glossy on my Conan figures, and I've used glossy on my Cthulhu Death May Die minis. But for Joan of Arc, I tend to do matte. Okay, so you can see I've got the base coat of red on the Lannisters, got a base coat of yellow. I've also gone ahead and started hitting the swords. So I got that iron black, I've got a silver, and I've got a gold. So we're starting out with the silver to get all of the Lannister armor and swords, and working through any other little details like helmets, shoulder armor, breastplates, and even some greaves and other arm bands and etc. So working through all of this, and again, this is not as much water to thin this out. The silver kind of gets weird if you thin it out too much. I find that it's you can do the maybe 3 parts paint to 1 part water is the right mix for me, but I also know cleaning the brush often is helpful. So you pick up that water when you clean the brush, and it makes it smooth coverage. I mean, otherwise, if it's too thin, I just find that the double coating of the silver kind of gets clumpy, and I try to like to do it in 1 coat if possible, just one smooth, the right consistency. So I've gone through and done all the armors and all the swords here. So I've got the reds and the swords, and then I'm going to go into the Titan Gold and start hitting the Lannister lions, start hitting the gold trim on all the shields. I'm also doing their the handguard and the pommel of the swords in gold as well, to kind of give it that Lannister opulence, that Roman kind of opulence. And also the belt buckles, I'm hitting them with a touch of the gold. I've seen other people using like a cloth color to really get that embroidered cloth look for the lining on the edge of the red tunic. I'm just hitting it with the gold very lightly, just to kind of give it that embroidered look, and then I'll hit it with the wash, and it'll kind of mute it down. But it just kind of going with the one paint. I've seen some very elaborate ones. I'm kind of just getting it ready. So yeah, so I've got these going. I'm going through and doing all the flesh tones now, I believe. And now this is still working on the gold for the swords, but flesh tones will be next. And the thing with doing it this way, I usually do faces first, but I found some videos and I saw that if you just get the helmet placed right and then just very carefully get into those faces with a thinner brush. So I'm using a 3 brush and then down to a 2 brush for the faces. And then I'll use the 1 for some highlights later. I'm figuring out my brush work, like sort of as we go. So here, just going through, getting all these batch updated, doing the edge of the shields. There's lots of great details on the shields of the Lannisters. They've got these raised lip on the edge of the shield, and they've also got the lion raised on the shield and on their chest. And then finally they've got those, like I was mentioning, the edge of the tunics that I'm hitting with the gold as well. So next up I'm going to do brown. So this is going to be all of the buckles, belts, scabbard ends, scabbard straps, and any other kind of buckle that kind of comes across here. There's usually a number of them, even some buckles holding on, say like the elbow guards you see in the Clegane units. There's a sort of a metal elbow guard and then like a leather strap that straps it onto the front of the arm. So those are all being just to my, actually I think I'm using, this is called Earth Red. I think this is called Earth Red, but it's kind of a brown. It's kind of a leathery brown. So, yeah, I like it. I like how it came out. And then I in a couple places it didn't look exactly right, and I'm thinking to go back and touch it up with just normal brown. So here you can see the Clegane guys have got these belt with their rations and canteens on the back. So those are all hit with the same brown. You can see Gregor's straps painted brown here. And you can see the belts and straps for this bannerman from Lannister. And same for this Lannister guardsman. So yeah, it's coming together pretty well. Totally having fun painting these guys. Next up is, we're going to do this iron black. And I'm hitting all those scabbards, being careful not to hit the brown tips. I'm also hitting the boots with this. The boots have got the Zenithal Prime, so I'm kind of doing I want to say like a hatchet kind of penciling. I'm letting some of the Zenithal Prime stay through. It looks like a bit of boot splatter, and then I'm also shaping it with the black. I'm hitting the under tunic with black too. I kind of like the black and red contrast. And this is a very warm, dark gray, right? This is a super dark gray, warm with a hint of red in it. So it's also kind of appropriate for the red Lannisters. The other thing is I'm doing their gloves. I've noticed that in the Zenithal Prime, some of the under the glove and under arms weren't hit super well. So I'm also going in, if there's any kind of raw, unprimed area, I'm just hitting it with this earth black. It kind of lends to the shadow. So that's a cool little trick you can do. If there's any spot that you notice that you've missed in priming or that you don't have an undercoat with, if it's like a, say like the underarm or the wrist pointing down underneath the shield, just hit it with a little warm gray black and it'll just kind of blend it in there as a shadow. And this way you can kind of touch up any spots that you might have missed in your undercoat. So yeah, going through all of these, hitting them under. The other spot that you notice too is underneath the mini. Sometimes, especially with these tunic minis, there's like a flat area. Okay, so now we're going to go into a flesh wash, and I'm just going to use this lightly. I'm going to hit the face first and then lightly on just some of the areas of the armor. And I'm also going to do Nung oil for the chainmail of the Clegane guys. I think that really sinks the black into the depths of the chainmail, and it makes the silver pop up. Maybe I'll brush the silver afterwards, but for now, just getting them coated. I also use that earth red for the Clegane hounds, the triple hounds on their banners. So yeah, so now going through doing the batch wash, just powering through this in speed mode. And yeah, this is super looking nice. And our first kind of fly through with the base coat and the wash on it. I've got Jaime, Tyrion, and Cersei up next to paint, so I'm going to work on those a little bit, and we'll do some hero shots of this, and it's kind of going to wrap it up for part one. So we've got the bannermen looking good, we've got the Clegane guys, and we've got an assortment of Lannister guardsmen and halberdiers. So hey, thanks for watching part one, guys. I'm going to do the Starks in House 2. As usual, like and subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll get notified when part 2 comes out. And looking forward to playing this on the tabletop. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.